We're just rolling right along looking at the features from the Northeast Wisconsin Horror Film Festival. We also will be covering the shorts. Look for those later in the week, reviews of those films. So today we're going to look at this feature film that showed at the festival last month, and we're looking at This Book is Cursed. Once again, we have director Michael Butt, who did the Vampire Ticks from Outer Space film, which I reviewed earlier. Here we have this sequel to a film he did called This Woods is Cursed, which I didn't realize till afterwards, but we get the story of a gentleman who had suffered some really traumatic events in the woods involving a book, and well, this book he tries to get rid of, but it just won't get out of his life. And we see, while on a trip back to the place where all those traumatic events happened, for him to try to get over the horrible things that happened during his time in the woods, we see how this book wreaks havoc still for this gentleman and his significant other in the woods in their RV by some hands of some very nasty individuals and a cloaked figure who has a very deep voice and a very dark intentions. This Book is Cursed is a sequel, and it feels as such, and I didn't realize it was a sequel, which may be why watching this film it makes you feel like you kind of miss a little something. Now, again, we have an interesting, fun story in here with a cursed book, and, you know, Rick trying to deal with his trauma from having something bad happen. You know, so it's an interesting exploration into that. And there is a great gimmick with the book, but again, you kind of feel like you're missing out on the joke. The tone of the film, it moves around quite a bit. You're not quite sure if it's supposed to be a full straight horror comedy. Is it supposed to be serious? Is it somewhere in between? And I think it's because of the way some of the jokes landed that if you hadn't seen the first one, you may not quite catch it. I'm not quite sure on that. It's just something didn't quite click while watching the film, and you feel like you're missing out on the joke quite a bit. Now, they do some fun things in here with the limited budget. I quite enjoyed a special effect they had involving, you know, using a dust and a skull and eyes and that. I thought they did that very well, and I found some humor in that quite a bit. And they cast characters that they have in here, the evil minions of the cloaked figure, who is in some way attached to the book as we go along. I love this group of characters and almost wish we would have stuck with them further. They may have showed up in the first one, I'm not quite sure, but really enjoyed them. Amy Radloff, who we actually saw in a short film, Low Self-Esteem, shows up in this film, and I enjoyed her performance in here. Again, with a micro budget, you've got varying degrees of talent here, but this group of minions really got into their roles, you could tell, and were a very energetic and vicious bunch. You know, I don't know. I think this film also, again, has some extra padding involved in it. Went a little bit long. Shrink this story up a bit more, and, you know, it maybe changed the pacing up, and I think I would have enjoyed this movie more, but unfortunately I kept being taken out of it by the fact of I wasn't quite sure if I was supposed to laugh, find it funny, find it scary. It was kind of a mixed bag in here, you know, so yeah, this one was a bit of a rough watch for me. I will say This Book is Cursed. I think maybe if I had seen the first one, I may have enjoyed it more, but with not having seen the first one, I really felt like this was just lacking in a lot of things. So there you have it, folks. This Book is Cursed. If you've seen this film, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this movie. Please leave your constructive comments down below, and if you get a chance, please check out our Patreon. We got a lot of great stuff there for very low prices. Subscribe so you can catch out our other reviews that we've got coming out. I thank you for your support, and remember, support indie horror.